Hello friends, I am Harpal Singh from MindMind Global, and today I am going to talk to Mr. Rajiv Gondal. He is one of the faculties here in MindMind Global. Sir is a certified faculty from British Council, and he's also certified faculty from TOEFL and PTE. However, today I am going to talk to him regarding the SAT exam. In our last video, I spoke to him about the SAT exam, what is the pattern. But today, I'm going to talk to him regarding the preparation of the SAT exam. So I have few questions for him regarding the preparation of the exam and specifically regarding the different section of the SAT exam. So welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm very you so much, and I'm so happy to be with you and to give as much golden nuggets as possible in the given time span.
Right, sir. We will wait for that definitely. So, without wasting any time, I'll just showcase my questions that I have, and then we can take it further. Right, sir. So, generally, students want to understand how do we prepare for the SAT exam because they may not be familiar with the pattern and then they may not be familiar how much time we need to give to each section. So, my first question is about the reading test. So, how students can prepare for the reading test of the SAT exam?
I think the best way to start the preparation of test is to take a mock assessment. See, every student is different
Okay,
with respect to his experience in reading, his hobbies. Some people are too much into reading fiction. Some people are very science oriented. I mean, they love science more
right,
than fiction. And as far as SAT is concerned, the passages are narrative passages, science based passages, some passages from history, some passages from there are dual passages where you have to make comparison between the two opinions and then answer questions. So there is no specific domain. So
okay.
the best is to benchmark and understand where you stand at this point in time with respect to SAT test. And for that, taking a diagnostic test is a fantastic idea because that gives you a very black and white picture of where you stand with regard to the SAT test that you aspire to take.
So, what I understand is that,
Now, after taking, yeah,
yeah, sorry. So, what I understand is that one is
go
that
ahead, sir, go ahead.
taking the mock test and secondly, reading a lot. So, what I wanted to understand some specific tips for the reading test, like these are the tips which help a student.
Sure. So I will divide the strategies into two parts, long-term strategies and short-term strategies. So if we talk about a student who is in 8th class or ninth class and who aspires to take SAT at some point in time in his life, it is worthwhile to spend time in reading different types of books and content. So if students have this habit, they develop the knack of synthesizing information from different sources. They do not get that. I mean, they are able to overcome that. So to say, fear of unknown. Let's say, for example, you are reading some or fiction, or you are reading novels. Your mind automatically gets tuned to read and understand stuff. So even if there is something unknown, you do not get confused or you not find yourself like Alice in the Wonderland, like what is happening here. So ability to deal with confusion is taken care of if you are into reading habit. So
Okay.
those students who are starting early, I would advise them to read some whatever novels they like for example Sydney Sheldon is there, or there is Harry Potter. So all these novels which are meant for kids actually help them synthesize information. Their brain gets attuned to the skill of reading. This is for long-term strategy. Students can identify their field of interest, start reading blogs, start reading books, start reading novels, so that reading becomes a sort like you. The more you cycle, the better cyclist you become. So after 5 years, if you appear in some kind of international cycling championship, since you have been cycling for so long, you do not find it something like an alien skill. You
Right.
automatically develop your muscle to go. Now, when we talk about something very specific specific, let's say SAT related, and you have got 3 months to prepare and take the test. For them, the best thing is to go for the real life tests, take a diagnostic, take a test, understand your areas of opportunities, make a corrections log, read the corrections log before this, take 10 tests wherein you do the test assessment, you get yourself assessed, identify your areas of opportunities, pay less attention where you are going wrong. So if you are able to identify a pattern, like for example, some students commit mistakes in graph related questions, some students commit mistakes in synthesizing information from two, three different. Some of them are very impatient, so they kind of take very quick judgment. Some of them are not able to use process of elimination properly. Some of them get confused when there is a difficult word in the passage. Some of them are not able to make out what is the point, what is the example, what is the explanation. They consider example as the point or explanation as the point. So those are the things which are very test specific. So
Okay.
for a student who has got, let's say, 3 months to take the test, you cannot go for a long term strategy of developing
Right.
your reading
Definitely.
skills.
Yeah.
The best is to go forward with the test itself, get the test done, try to identify what are your areas of opportunities, and move fast. And you can take help from an expert, gain speed and gather momentum around your mistakes, compiling all of them together and getting ahead. So
Right.
these are the two different types of candidates, and depending on which stage you are, you can design your own strategy.
Fine. So what I think the takeaway is that long-term strategy helps you to relate to the topics, right? You don't find yourself in a situation where you think it is new, and during the short
Yes,
term when you have only 2 3 months, then you should do the practice and identify the mistakes, right? So my next question is about the writing test. So
yes.
how to prepare for the writing test for SAT exam?
Okay, so in SAT test, writing test is basically the test of grammar and comprehension. And many people are afraid of writing test because the questions are mixed there. Some questions are related to comprehension, some questions are related to grammar, punctuation, word choice, arranging ideas, and all. So for writing test, which is actually language and writing test, they call it as IELTS, SAT language and writing test. The most important thing is to identify the nature of the question. The moment you look at a question, you should ask yourself, what exactly is it trying to ask? Is it asking me to comprehend the content, or is it asking me to correct the content? If it is asking you to comprehend the content, you have to approach it in a very different way, because now your approach would be to get into the depth of the content, identify what is the story going on, and how you can answer that question. If it is something related to grammar, then you have to look at all the grammar rules, whether it is punctuation, whether it is incorrect meaning, modifier, punctuations, or a subject verb agreement, connectors,
Okay.
and sentence structure. So these are the different types of errors which are there related to grammar. So the key thing is to identify the nature of the question and then go about applying the right strategy.
Right. So that means, first of all, understand the requirements of the question or of the task. And then, if it is about the grammar, then
Exactly.
I think the grammatical accuracy should be there. So the student should practice on the grammar skills, I think. So there can be a lot of exercises that they can do, I think,
Yes.
for grammar.
Yes. Yes. See, as I just mentioned, the problem with this is that students are not able to change gear very swiftly. Like, for example, first 5 questions were related to grammar, where they were thinking in punctuation and subject verb agreement, those type of things. All of a sudden, the sixth question would be related to comprehension. Now, student is in that groove of thinking about grammar, and all of a sudden he is supposed to read the passage and answer questions. So they find it very difficult to change gears. So this
Okay.
openness of approach is required to get good marks in writing, wherein you quickly shift gears from comprehension related questions to grammar related
Grammar.
questions. You should be open. So that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. And what about the difficult vocabulary, sir? Because sometimes students face a lot of problem in the understanding of new words or vocabulary. How to deal with that? One obviously is to, as you said, read a lot, and then what to do on that day. Like if there's a new word on that day in my exam, what do I do then?
Yeah, this is very interesting. You can always use contextual clues. Let me give you an example. People are confused about, or people are concerned about the epistemological authenticity of news reporters. Now, this word is
Right, it's a difficult
quite
word.
confusing. What is this epistemological authenticity of news reporters? Suppose I don't know the meaning of epistemological authenticity of news reporters. So the sentence is people are concerned about epistemological authenticity of news reporters. And I don't know what is
Right,
the meaning of epistemological.
right,
So let us just overlook this word. People are concerned about the authenticity of news reporters.
right.
Well, the meaning of the sentence is still the same.
Still same, right.
So the interesting thing is, many a times slash and burn works very nicely. Just slash and burn the difficult word until and unless it is contributing something very special to the sentence.
Okay,
There is
great.
no need of to bother about difficult words.
That's a really
But then
great
yes,
tips, a
of
really
course,
smart
sometimes
tip.
that particular word, one word, yeah, just remove it. 90% of the time you will find that all these difficult words are ornaments like adjectives or some extra details about something which really do not contribute to the overall meaning of the statement. As I just gave you the example, so it's very interesting. You can just ignore the words which are difficult, you still get the meaning. Understand the context, you will understand the content. There's no need to pay too much attention to the content.
Right. So I think, sir, these are little nuances which I'm sure you are helping your students with. That is the reason they are getting really high marks in the SAT exam. So I would want more, you know, inputs on such lines, right? So let me go to the next question, which is about, now it is about the content. Now you said uh, don't get too much distracted with the difficult vocab. Now what about the content if there's an unknown content in the exam?
Yeah, this is again very interesting. I was taking one interview of the participant. She scored full marks in reading, and I asked her like, "What
Oh,
kind of food do you eat, and what kind of rituals do you follow to get full marks?" So she told me, "Sir, I don't really go for understanding the content. I straight away go to the questions."
okay,
So the best way to avoid a problem is to not look at the problem. Instead of solving the problem, why not just overlook the problem in case we have some work around it? To be precise, do not pay attention to the content. Even if it is very difficult, you can still answer out at least 7 out of 10 questions, because they are based on one particular line or one particular paragraph. So you can identify the nature of the question, whether it is a word based question, or a line based question, or a paragraph based question, or a passage based question. If the content is difficult, only a passage based question where you have to comprehend the whole passage would be difficult to answer. You can still answer a line based question or a word based question, even if the content is totally alien to you. So my advice is that, just pay attention to the content. It's not, nobody is going to check. It's a very typical test. You have to just answer the questions which are there in front of you from the evidences available there. You are not supposed to reproduce the content the way we do in our contemporary 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th type of exams, where you have to write long answers.
right.
The questions are very objective type, and they have got a very defined window of information. If we just understand that much, it is fine. You don't have to be a master of that particular content.
So what I gather from here is that if we reach to the right area, it can be a word, it can be a sentence, or it
Yes,
can be a paragraph. So if we reach to the right area, we can still
yes,
manage, say, 70-80% of the questions, even if we don't understand, or it is like a unknown content for us. Right. Okay.
yes.
Fine.
Yes, I'll give you an example.
Yes, sir.
Day
Please.
before yesterday, I was taking some classes, students of US, and they were doing a passage which is based on double helical structure of DNA. So how two chains relate with each other, and what is cytosine and guanine and thymine and whatnot, purines and pyrimides, and they combine with each other
This,
to form a
this is
DNA.
all Greek. This is all Greek to me.
Yeah, so it was too much into biology. And
Right.
The point is like out of all those four students, all the questions correct, except for
Okay.
one or two questions here and there.
Oh,
But 90% of the questions they did right. When I asked them what is this DNA thing, they said we don't know. Then how did you get the question, sir? We knew that this is the question, this is the window of information. If we just refer to this much, we are able to make out. That's it. So they are not molecular biologists to understand what is a
right.
nitrogen bond or a hydrogen bond and what is a thymine or a cytosine or guanine, but they are able to get the answers right. So it's very interesting. You don't have to be a master of the content. It is just like a third person who is not from that particular domain. You can just get the basic information and answer questions.
So that means students from the commerce or humanities side, if they come across passages
Hmm.
on science and some technical, specifications of this thing,
Mm.
then they can also manage if they follow the right strategy,
Yes,
which is taught in the lessons in the sessions, right? Okay, great. So
exactly.
now the dreaded
Yes.
mathematics, sir. What to do with the maths? How to prepare for SAT maths test?
So SAT maths is not maths in its contemporary way or the general way we understand maths. It is more logical reasoning than mathematics because
Application of
questions are
thing.
more related to our day-to-day life. Yeah, it's
Okay.
application of maths. So if somebody knows how to go to market and purchase something and apply some logic to, bargain, what is 10% more, what is 10% less, and how to find the average. There are kids there, here and there, and how to find a trend and answer questions, some basic questions related to statistics. So this is something which is very applied mathematics, not something wherein you are supposed to remember. You don't have to remember a single formula, except for one or two formula, I would say.
Okay.
You don't have to remember anything. You can go with blank mind. Even at the beginning of the test paper, they themselves write down all the formulas which could be required in the test paper. So it's a fantastic test wherein you don't have to be a slave of your memory. It's more about applying the logic and being open and trying out things and getting things across, and of course doing a lot of practice that you understand the pattern. One thing which I want to mention is all these tests, whether you talk about IELTS or TOEFL or SAT or anything, are standardized tests.
Right.
A standardized test by definition is a test wherein there are fixed number of questions of fixed types. So if you can crack that, if you think like an examiner, wherein if you have a test paper, what type of questions you would give, and if you start your preparation from there, you would be thinking in a very different way, and your preparation would be more streamlined towards the test. The best, I mean, irrespective of whatever the world says, the fact of the matter is these are standardized tests. They cannot cross their own boundaries. So there are some set boundaries, and if you understand them, that these are the nature of questions from whatever English or maths or writing or vocabulary, we can game it, and that's very important to realize that it's a standardized test,
Okay. And the
whether it is
course
maths or
and
whatever.
the
And
level of
to be
mathematics.
specific about maths,
Sorry. So the level of mathematics, is it till 10th class, or the course from the 11th and
yeah,
12th is also in?
90% of the questions, 90% of the questions are from the level of ninth and 10th. As
9th.
I said, they're more logical than mathematical. You're not supposed to. You have written beautiful formula here. I don't understand what is this formula. This is definitely not tested in SAT.
I just got it from
So it is interesting to
somewhere, sir.
scare people. It's more.
So I think I can give up here. The third option I can
Yeah.
take.
So
I'll
this.
give up here. Okay.
Yeah. That is true. And no such thing as integration, differentiation. This is too much stuff for
Too
SAT.
much. Yeah, it's
SAT
too
is more
much.
related to application. It's more related to 8th, 9th, and 10th. Nothing else. Not a single question resembles what we have written in. So it is good. We are showing what does not come in SAT. Relax. This is not the
Unknowingly, I have
question that will come.
contributed to this conversation. Okay, great, fine. Okay, sir. And this is my last question, sir.
Yes.
How to manage time during the test? I think
Yes.
we can practice a lot. We can read a lot during the, I mean, if it's a long term thing, and we can practice also. But on that day specifically, there's a little, level of
Yeah.
nervousness, anxiety, if not, too nervous, but yes, students can be a little nervous because they are getting into the real exam. And the time management, how what do you suggest to the
Yeah.
students, how to manage their time on that given day?
Yeah. So first thing I would say is that don't very objective. So once you have got mindset that you are very objective, you start thinking about test in a very different way. When you are very emotional, you try to fight with every question as if it is the question of life and death, and it's
Right.
like you have to make it or break it kind of thing. But if you are very objective, you play with a lot of risk taking attitude and approach. For example, if there is a difficult question, I would rather not do it at the beginning. I will say, oh, you are a beautiful question, but I am a little busy. You will go to the easier questions first. The fact of the matter is that you do not get extra marks for the number of marks are all equal. You have
Okay.
got, let's say, 50 minutes to answer, let's say, 40 questions. Try to answer 50 all those 40 questions in 30 50 minutes, 40 minutes itself. Spare 10 minutes, so go for two rounds. First round is the fastest of the questions and finishing them, and then second round where there are extra 10 minutes available. Spend time on the difficult ones. Is not no guarantee. Since it is, what is the definition of difficult? Difficult is a, it is going to take more time. B, it is out of your domain of knowledge. So irrespective of you give your best, you are going to make some guesses there. So why not make a guess at the end?
At the
And
end,
why
right.
not, why spend time? If we are not sure whether we will be right or wrong, at least not at least let's not waste time. So first of the my suggestion for time management is that if you've got 50 minutes to answer the questions, finish all the questions in 40 minutes first. Do the
Okay.
ones which are the easiest, which about which you are sure, and in 10 minutes then play your game of guessing, or give your best whatever is
Okay.
available with you.
Right. So for mathematics, as I'll come back to that, as you said, go for it in the end. So do they get any rough sheet of paper where they can do the calculations, or are they provided with calculator? How is it like?
Yeah, so the test sheet itself has got a lot of blank space.
Okay.
So this is a paper and pencil test up till now,
Okay.
and I don't know how would it happen in future. Of now, it is pencil paper test, and they got that blank sheet there in the test paper itself, and they can kind of write it. So that's very easy.
Right. So okay. So anything else, sir, that you would like to add here in terms of preparation, and we wind up the session then.
Sure. Students with a lot of tension, with a lot of pressure, I would suggest that take it easy. I know it is easier said than done, but I have seen students doing excellently well within very short span of time with the right approach and with the right mindset. It is not a very difficult test. It is a standardized test. We have to understand the nuance of the test and understand the meaning while designing this test. And of course, like any other test, it requires practice. You should give enough time to it. It is good to start early, let's say after ninth class itself or after 10th class. Whenever you get vacations, it makes sense to develop reading skills, and foundation of maths is something which is very important. We all study linear equation, quadratic
Yeah.
equation, and how to solve questions related to it. But then somewhere down the line, we lose the practical aspect of it, and we try to
Right.
the mindset of related to maths is that you have to understand certain formulas. So it's not a question of understand formula, it is the question of understanding application. And that's why fundamental, I think, yes, this is my advice. Please take this test. Do not fret about it. Do not try to take it in a very logical way. Anyone can. I have seen people with very mediocre beginning scoring very high marks in SAT. It is very much possible that with the passage of
Okay.
time you'll get good marks. So essentially, two things. number one, start early so that you get enough time, and number two, do not really get afraid of the test. Start liking it, because it's really more than a test. It's worth spending all that time and energy in preparing for it, because it's not just a test that you would clear. You will learn lots and lots of life skills,
Life
time
skills, yeah.
management, how to take, how to avoid very important for our life also. So I would suggest that you should take this long term goal with your mind when you start preparing for SAT.
So, okay, so what the message is that first of all, I would say start early and take it as a long term thing. You know, if you can start early, definitely that will be great. And then start
Yes,
practicing a lot.
yes,
And last but not the least, take it easy. End of the day, you can manage this test even if you start at a very mediocre level. So that is the message from Mr. Rajiv Gundal.
yes.
Right, sir. Thank you so much once again for coming to our channel and giving all these inputs to our students. And I'm sure those who are watching this will definitely benefit from this. And I can tell my students, if you have any doubts, you can first of all take a mock test. We can review that for you without any cost. You can just send the answers to us. You can take it from the college board website, I think, right? And then we can help you with the review of your mock test that can help you to understand your current proficiency level, right? So I think this was quite an informative
Absolutely,
video
sir. Yeah.
for all of us. And please do like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with all your friends who are preparing for the SAT exam, right? Thank you, sir. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.